So Season 3 Reloaded added a ton of Easter eggs to Warzone and Verdansk, like way more than I originally thought, and I think I'm the only one in the world who's completed all of them. So in this video, I'm going to show you every single Easter egg that was added with this update, and trust me, there's a lot more than you think. Whether you're trying to open up that secret door inside of Storage Town, trying to break in using the codes to the various different stashes around the map, or looking at some Easter eggs from previous maps, or maybe you found that mysterious coin and want to know what to do with it. I have all of those answers for you today. As well, at the end of the video, there is one Easter egg that to this day, nobody has solved. I'm going to show you what that one is as well. But there's a lot, so without further ado, let's dive into them where I started with them. So my first thought was looking at the bunkers, but the bunkers are not online. You can't use any of the keypads, so the bunkers were out of the question. However, if you have a look at my map here, you can see that the bunkers weren't the only things that had codes. There was 2 storage sheds as well as a farmhouse that you could get access to via codes. Turns out all of those keypads were online. We just didn't know what code would open it up. Now, I will show you how you're supposed to figure it out, but what we tried on stream was just taking the codes that were used before and using them backwards. And as it turns out, for all 3 of them, that was the code. Now we'll go through what's inside them, but if you want to know how you're supposed to figure it out, at TV Station, there's a piece of intel or a note that you can find that says, know your history with a backwards R. In other words, know the old codes backwards. Also, it will give you a coordinate on the map, which will lead you to one of the shacks or the farmland, and it'll give you the actual code. And each time you go to TV Station, it'll give you a different area with a different code. But just know that these are the old codes, but backwards. So here, I've updated the map. These are actually the right codes, whereas the bunker codes right now are still the old codes. So for the first shack, this one is by the prison. These were, by the way, all a part of the Pawn Takes Pawn Easter eggs leading up to the release of Black Ops Cold War. Basically, all you're going to find in here is what was originally in these shacks, as well as some of the pages that were needed to actually solve the Pawn Takes Pawn ARG. For example, like those lights that you are seeing there, you'll see each of these in the various different locations that we go. Up next, we have the room in Farmland. It's in the main farm building. And as far as this one goes, again, put in the code that I showed you on the map, and then boom, you're inside. Again, finding pages from the Pawn Takes Pawn Easter egg, as well as some good quality chests, which are in all of these buildings. So after this, we have the one by TV Station. Now this shack, enter it the same way. Again, the codes were on the map that I showed you before. And as far as this one, there is a big map of Verdansk. This is the old Verdansk. We know this because of the shape of the stadium. As well, you can find some more Pawn Takes Pawn pages, which are, this one is the Verona codes, for example. And that's pretty much it. There is no weapon camos or rewards for actually doing this, just in-game items like you see in here. Now, this one is probably the biggest one. In Storage Town, there is a room that says you need a key to actually get inside, some sort of mysterious key. So I'll show you how to complete this one. And this one actually started a couple weeks ago, where I uploaded a video on the channel showing that there was a map found inside of Storage Town that was not there in the original map, and there was a circle around bunker number 6. Now, I couldn't have figured this one out without the help of someone in the community by the name of Killer Stidge. You can follow him on Twitter. He is constantly posting things that he finds around Warzone. His Twitter will be linked down in the description. Now, as it turns out, that circle on the map was not for bunker number 6. It was for a small area to the side of it. And in fact, if you work your way up the hill through this little trench in that area, at the outskirts of the map, literally out of the zone, you can see a orange sleeping bag as well as a C4 box. When you go and interact with the C4 box, it'll drop a mysterious key, which you can then pick up, go back into the normal area, and when you do, you will then have access to the mysterious key. So you take said mysterious key, work your way back to Storage Town, and when you get there, you can then open the door, which is found on building 28 inside of Storage Town. When you do, it is booby-trapped with bombs. So you can either defuse them, which is possible, or you can be like me and just run straight into them and explode. Now, once you are inside, there's a couple things that you're going to notice. First of all, there is a note. On said note, it says, "I don't want to die a traitor." Now, I don't know who this is referring to, if it's Adler. I might do a deeper dive into this for a story video if you guys have any interest in that. But on top of that, in this room, there's also a computer with some sort of coin on the screen. I'm not sure what that coin is as of yet. However, there is one Easter egg that involves a coin. For this next Easter egg, what you're going to do is probably get a helicopter. That's the easiest way. And you're going to be driving along the coast looking for small boats. In one of these boats spawning every game randomly, you will find a sea treasure token. This is from the map Ashika Island, but it's now an Easter egg on Verdansk. So pick it up and get back in your helicopter. Next, you are going to Promenade, specifically to the gas station, kind of by the Ferris wheel at the end of Promenade. You are going to put that token into the machine that is the same machine that you would find on Ashika Island, and boom, it will pop like a UAV, some cash, things along those lines, and boom, you're done the Easter egg. The next one is an Easter egg from Vandal. For this one, you are going to go to prison. Specifically, you're going to make your way to the prison cells. You are looking for a picture of floating doors. Now, this picture can be found in any of the cells in the prison. It can be found on one of these like kind of green crates or on the walls in the prison cells. It took me a while to actually find it, but it does spawn there randomly in a random cell every single game. So just keep an eye out. When you find it, you're then going to interact with it, and you can see on the picture it says I8, and then there's circles around the doors, and you're going to want to find these doors on the map, which I'll show you where they are, and shoot them in order from smallest circle to largest circle. Now you'll know you're interacting with the item when it makes this sound, and then you go to sector I8 like the picture says, but it's the bottom right corner of the map. There's a beach there, and you're going to shoot the doors in the proper order, and then you'll get 1000 XP, and a thing will pop up on screen when you complete it, as well as a supply crate will drop in from the sky. And again, the only thing you're getting out of here is UAV, cash, that sort of thing. Now, what's nice about this one is it's kind of all in one given area. You don't have to kind of go all over the map, but you're all in this kind of prison corner. This next one, we're moving over to a reference to Fortune's Keep. So you're going to want to go to the complete opposite side of the map by the police station here, and you're going to be going in the house. On the bottom floor of the house, you are going to find a note. The note will say, "This shelves will be filled with bottles. Otherwise, it will be too easy to discover the secret lever, and I want to keep my fortune." Now the bottle then says Dragon's Cove Vintage 1976 wine, and when you interact with it, it'll pull it, you'll get a notification with some XP, and beside you, it will drop some cash, I think $1,200 on the floor. So this next one's a reference to OG Verdansk, specifically co-op missions as well as Rebirth Island. First things first, you're going to make your way downtown to the bank, and there are 4 different locations in the bank where this machine on the wall from Rebirth Island is going to spawn. When you interact with it, it's going to give you a gift card, or specifically a hardware gift card. You then take this to any buy station in which you are going to be able to buy a diamond bitted drill. You're going to take this drill all the way back to bank, put it into the vault, and you will be able to open it up. Now the only thing inside the vault, at least that I could find, was just cash. That was it. There was no note or anything fancy like that. But as you can see, the terminal that we saw before was 100% from Rebirth Island, and then opening up this vault in this way was actually from a co-op mission all the way back in Modern Warfare 2019. I really wish there was more inside the vault here, but yeah, it's a good way to get a bunch of cash. It'll just take you a bit. As I mentioned, all of these are in reference to older Call of Duty maps. This next one is the Caldera. This is a note found in the prison showers next to a ping pong paddle. Now, when you read the note, it says the following. It gets a little kinky here. "As a thanks for your protection in here," in other words, in prison, "I thought you would like this freshly cleaned vintage paddle from your home of the Caldera. Just please don't ever ask me how I smuggled it in here. Your cellmate." So yeah, a little bit weird on that one. Then the reference to Verdansk 84. This is found by the red doors in Quarry, and this one says, "This door must remain closed due to unforeseen disappearances. We are sorry for the inconvenience, administration office." So you can tell what this is pretty darn quickly, but no, you can just read the note. It's like intel essentially. So then we have the note that can be found by Stadium. It says, "Don't forget to tighten the screws, otherwise the missile might not detonate, resulting in catastrophic non-explosion. That won't be the end of Verdansk. Miss L, Supervisor." So obviously this is the one that is much more important story-wise for Verdansk. Now, the interesting thing about this is it completely retcons a bunch of the story for Verdansk and is obviously a reference for that. But I don't know where they're going to go with this moving forward, if they're going to write a new story. And that's what I talked about in yesterday's video, specifically about the non-destruction or non-nuking of Verdansk, which will be linked down in the description or after the video if you want to check it out. Now, another note can be found where the Vodianoi, or the ghost ship, or the zombie ship came up upon shore by prison. And this note is even more confusing. It says, "Madame, you may have have received a letter just 1 day ago about your husband's death. Please disregard. I am delighted to inform you that he is in fact making a full recovery. He is awake, albeit disoriented, and already has quite the appetite. I believe he will be up and walking again in no time. The remaining text is covered by blood. So yeah, that one is super cryptic. I don't know whether that's saying they did or did not become zombies. Then we have the note that can be found in Boneyard on a supply drop that has crushed someone, which was in prior to this update, but the note wasn't. And it says, by calling in this loadout drop, you accept that the manufacturer is not liable for any misuse of the product leading to injury or death from above. Please read this aloud to any individuals located underneath the product. So just a little bit of a joke here. So obviously all of these Easter eggs are in reference to other maps that have been in Warzone or earlier versions of Verdansk, except for one. The one in Storage Town where we find that computer and the note talking about not being a traitor. So I think that is the one that might push the narrative moving forward, unless I'm missing something that was a reference, something on the other map. Maybe the screen, the coin, I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas down in the comments. So all of these are amazing, and I will get to the 2 that have not been solved yet, but all of these are amazing. But you may have noticed is number 1, there's no reward. There's not like a camo for completing all of these or anything like that. Specifically the one in Storage Town, I really think they should have had something for that you earned for doing it. And on top of that, for all of the intel, there's no menu in the main menu to know if we've got all the intel or to display it once we've received it. And I think that would be a way cooler of looking at the story and looking at the intel. So I hope in the future they do add those 2 things to the Easter eggs. Speaking of the future, there's 2 that we haven't solved. Number 1 is when Verdansk 2025 was originally reintroduced, we saw in Quarry there was a purple vial, obviously referring to either the haunting of Verdansk or maybe even the vial on Urzikstan. There's now no note there, or the purple vial has also been removed. So that no longer exists on the map whatsoever. The other one takes place in Graveyard. We can see this kind of statue sitting there with an inspect icon, but just has a bunch of question marks. So we don't know whether we need something to give to the statue or whether we need to find a shovel to dig something up in front of the statue. The other thing to mention is, as of right now, there has been no way to find specialist on the map, which we thought was going to be through the bunkers, but the bunkers aren't open yet. So still a bunch of questions up in the air. If you enjoyed all these Easter eggs, you found it informative, you enjoyed doing them, you liked finding them, that kind of thing, hit the like button, subscribe to stay up to date on everything like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're